Hello people, in this lecture we're gonna implement now the registration form for the user. Let's change the model title here for authentication. And let's wrap this login form in a div with the ID of login form. Let's place it here. Let's create a new div with the ID of register form. And here we're gonna place our partial view with the register form. Instead of the login, we're gonna have the user VM, but the user VM is inside our admin. Let's go to the view models of our admin. Let's cut it from here and let's place right here in the view models and select yes, adjust the namespaces. Go back to the index of our dishes, and now we have our user VM available. Go to our login form right here, create a button to change between forms. Create a div with the class text center, margin top of 3, create a paragraph, don't have an account, place an anchor tag with href of nothing. The ID will be switch to the register. So when we click here, we're gonna switch to the register form and the text will be registered here. Let's create now our register form. Click here and say register form. Go to our admin, go to the users, edit, copy, and place it. We won't have a viewback title here. We won't have all these styles. Let's take this out. Let's remove if the user is an admin, because the user will not be able. Remove the scripts section. Remove this container. Actually, remove this div. And here in the button, instead of save, let's say register. The action will be register. And our controller can be our login controller. This name of login for a controller is kind of awkward, but I'll let it like this. We could say like authentication controller, but it doesn't matter. Let's maintain it as login. And our login is, our register form is already done. And this is not enough for our register form. Let's copy this from the login form, place it here. Instead of don't have an account, let's say already have an account. And instead of switch to register, let's say switch to login. And login here. And this is almost done. Let's implement our jQuery script here with our logic to switch between forms. Right here in the scripts, let's create a new tag here. Let's say document. When it's ready, call a function. Let's say const with our login form. Or register form. And here, let's call a function. Let's call a function when the switch to register is called. Let's call the event click on click we're gonna call a function. Let's say prevent default. Let's go to our login form. Let's add a class of dnone, and in our register form, let's remove the class of dnone, and that's it. Let's copy the switch to register and call the switch to login. The login form, we will remove the class of dnone and we'll add a class of displayNone in our register form. By default, let's say the class of this register form is dnone. And let's see if our implementation is working. Go to dishes, order now. Don't have an account, click here to register. Already have an account, click login here. So everything is working as we expect. Let's now implement the action to create our user in the login controller. Go to the login controller, create a new post action for our register action. Let's say user VM. Let's go to the controller, user's controller. Let's call our mapper here so we can use it to map our user VM. Let's add to the parameters of our controller, and here let's copy this and let's paste it. And of course, let's redirect the user to our index of dishes. But before we redirect the user, let's authenticate the user. So we're gonna duplicate this code here, but instead of duplicate, let's do it better. Select all this code. Let's quick actions. Let's extract a method. Let's say authenticate, and let's put it under our code. And when we create a user with that register form in the layout, the user will always not be an admin. If we don't have any errors, let's authenticate. Let's go here, copy it, and authenticate. So the user will be redirected to the action of dishes, to the index of dishes, but now he will be authenticated and will be able to make orders in our application. Let's see if everything is working as we expect. Click here in dishes, order now, click here to register. Let's say Guilherme, the email will be this email. My password will be 1234567 My address will be test address. Let's click here in register. Here we have our VM is admin is false. We can take this out because every time when we don't say that it's true, it will be false as default. We mapped our VM to our entity. We hashed our password. ID is 0 because we will create a new one. We created our user, and now we are authenticating our user with our user cookie. We have now an exception saying no sign-in authentication handle is registered for your scheme user cookie. Let's add this cookie to our services as well. Go here to the program. Let's copy for from this admin cookie, and instead of admin cookie, let's say user cookie. User cookie. And the login path will be login index. We can create a login index page when the user try to access a route and he is not authenticated, but I will not create it at the moment. Let's say access denied, and the expire time span will be 2 hours as well. Let's try to create our user again and see if everything is working now. Let's register the email, like password. We could place here an IS symbol here to display our password, but it doesn't matter at the moment. Let's click here and register. Let's sign in, and everything now is correct. And now I am authenticated as a user. I can log out. I have my user cookies, and if now I click here in order now, I should be able to create new orders, to add this dish to my order. So let's do that in future lectures.